Welcome to r/AskReddit by Reddit replay. What do you think is scarier, the idea that we are alone in the universe or the idea that we aren't? Why? That we are alone. Given how massive the universe is in space and time, the idea that Earth is the only place where any life form exists is unsettling. Everyone seems to be assuming that other life means humanoid or intelligent. To me, it just means any life form. Carbon-based or made of element unknown to our galaxy. There has to be something else. The idea that we are alone. Because it would imply that our existence is winning the astronomical lottery and this is all we are trying to do with it. The idea that we are alone. It gives me a feeling of loneliness and that there is not as much out there to look for. Existence would not be as interesting. I think about the ruins of ancient civilizations on other planets and how absolutely fascinating it would be to explore them. Mathematically, there should be life. I think it would be far more frightening that we are alone. Neither is scary, because if we are alone, then we have nothing to worry about. If we are not, then the sheer vastness of space is a pretty good indicator that we are not likely to ever make contact with another intelligent species. I find it more depressing knowing that there are so many galaxies and planets out there that there must be billions of strange and exotic places that we'll never see or explore. We are pretty much confined to our own solar system unless we develop a technology to skip across time and space, which is scary to imagine. That we aren't. If we are alone, then we are the best and worst of the universe. I don't want to run into a species worse than us. Alone. It's theoretically impossible for us to be alone. But if we are the first/last thinking life forms in the universe, that's a depressing thought. Cause that means someday, the last human being will die out, and that will be the end of all progress. Sure, life will go on, but would another species step up and do better than us? Can they? Will they? I guess the not knowing is the worst part of it. Well, the idea that we'll never know. There are lots of paradoxes and problems regarding aliens. If they are there at all, have they developed technology advanced enough to create electromagnetic signals? And if yes, why we haven't seen any signs throughout the visible universe? Our civilization can be easily spotted for everyone in a California 110 Li radius with radio telescope. And we can't spot anything in billions of light years around. On the other hand, we have animals on Earth, dated hundreds of millions of years, and they haven't evolved into space dwellers. Honestly, it doesn't matter if we are or not alone. We'll never reach to the stars unless we find out how to break laws of physics. The idea that it matters. The idea that regardless of either possibility, there is no saving us from ourselves. I don't think either of those outcomes is scary. Reality is what it is. Getting upset over it isn't going to change anything. That's no more scary than the fact that I can't flap my arms and fly to the moon. The idea we aren't. Basically, any time two entities come into contact, there is some kind of power struggle, and the loser is either subjugated or eliminated. The only chance for peace is a coincidental situation, where both parties are at the same power, roughly speaking, to where the struggle is known to be too damaging to all parties such that it should be avoided. Mathematically, we shouldn't be alone. There are too many stars in too many galaxies across a seemingly infinite universe that has already existed for billions of years. So, if we are alone, there has to be a reason for it. And that reason must be terrifying. A wave that wipes out a city is terrifying. A fire that kills everything in a forest is terrifying. We don't have a word to describe the unfathomable horror of confronting the reason why life doesn't exist in the universe. The idea that we are alone, because that would mean no other hospitable planets exist in the universe, and when the Earth finally blows up, or whatever, then that is the end of life in the universe. That we are alone, for sure. Now, not saying that is scary, but it's scarier than knowing there are aliens, because if there's one, then suddenly the odds of more goes up, and given the scale, the possibilities are endless. We could come across aliens that have cures for all diseases and answers to all our questions about the universe, all given to us in the space of a couple days, saving us centuries of scientific research and advancement. This is equally as likely as a predatory alien species that tries to eat us, but generally, when a civilization advances, certainly to the level of space travel, the civilization become more and more peaceful. That we are alone. If we are alone, then everything we do becomes more meaningful. If we go extinct, that would mean the end of sapient technologically advanced species. If the Earth becomes uninhabitable, then all hope for life in the entire universe is lost. If we are alone, then this planet becomes a billion times more precious, and the way we've been treating it becomes instantly unacceptable. The pollution we and our ancestors caused would be treasonous crimes. The stakes have become infinitely higher because we are the only chance for life in the galaxy. If we are alone, then our best is the best that anyone is ever going to do, and if I take a look around, I can't help but feel disappointed and ashamed of our accomplishments so far. We are progressing to the point where the Earth won't satisfy our continued lust for growth, and we are risking all life in the universe to achieve it if we are alone. Aren't. I know the limits and destructive capabilities of humans. I don't want to have to guess at a species we don't know and may not be able to communicate with. Neil deGrasse Tyson said that his worst fear is that aliens already visited Earth and decided not to make contact because there is no intelligent life here. I mean, I would rather be invaded than insulted. I think fear is a path to the dark side. I think the scarier one is that we aren't. Mostly from the scientific viewpoint I once learned about. There was this natural filter or something, which was a nearly impossible obstacle to overcome for life. Now, the goal of all life is to grow and evolve, so the natural goal of humanity is to spread in the whole universe. That's where this filter comes in. There were 4 main stages that can be the filter in theory: developing life, developing conscience, developing intelligence, and factor X. What that means is, the less life we find in space, the more likely it is we've already overcome the biggest obstacle and we can continue to grow. If we find, let's say, many other civilizations, that will mean the obstacle is ahead of us, the unknown factor X. Theory is that it's probably us destroying ourselves eventually. So, personally, I hope we can continue with humanity's goal and make our history actually mean something to the universe by the time it ends. Us being alone sucks a lot more. We can't possibly be as good as it gets. I refuse to even entertain the idea that we are alone. Killing all life on Earth is bad, but it's worse to live with that we killed the only life in the universe. The idea that we aren't. What if aliens want to invade Earth for an experiment of phys where they create a new species? I think both. If we are not alone, then of course there could be an alien civilization that is say 10x worse than us, and so if we encountered them, we could be ducked, while if we were alone on the other hand, then due to the fact there isn't anyone else around, then we are the first/last people in the vastness of the universe. Thanks for watching. If you are new to the channel, subscribe for your daily dose of Reddit. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check out another video. And have an awesome day, you wonderful people.